Howdy guys, Jay Smith here. Welcome to the AskGolfNut channel. Welcome to everyone who's a regular. Welcome to the Monday Clubhouse. Bit of an interesting one today because we have a little bit of sneaky peek, teasery things about the new Mizuno releases. It won't be long now, only 2 weeks, I think it is. So I'm frantically filming, editing, getting all the data. We'll talk about more of the info in a little bit. The chat is already going, as you can see. There. And so hopefully my stream's coming through okay. Haven't got any red lights or anything, which is good. And hopefully everyone can hear me and see me. So I think it's time to introduce Andy. Andy is waiting patiently in the background. Andy's joined us from the other side of the pond. Welcome, Andy.
Hello.
Andy's probably watching on YouTube.
Pond.
Yeah,
the frozen
Andy's probably
pond
watching
right
on
now.
YouTube, and there's a delay. He's waiting for it. Oh, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Chilly.
Good.
Chilly.
Now, unlike you,
freezing here today.
Oh, is it? We haven't spoke about the temperature. What's it like over there?
I think it's high of 28 today, so, which is like what, -2.
I was about to say, well, we're dealing English numbers over here. 28 degrees, that's lovely. No, so obviously I'm not allowed to show these too much. Unlike Andy, who has got a blurred background, I have not. And so when I pass certain things in shot,
I mean, any dedicated viewer could easily.
you don't want to be zooming in on me.
Like.
Just don't want, yeah. To be fair, and let's just be blatantly honest with the new Mizuno line, because of Mizuno decided in their wisdom to do a split launch in Asia. Japan have had it since, I want to say August 29th. Am I right or wrong?
About that, I can't remember. It's been almost 6 months.
Chat sections there, guys. So if I am wrong, feel free, get in there and tell me I'm wrong. Also, get in there and tell me that the stream is okay, because I haven't had anyone tell me as yet that it's bad. So from that point of view, I'm hoping that everything is all right. Fingers crossed. But yeah, so they've done a split launch, which is an interesting one. Eric's gone. Hello all. Streaming well, great, okay, wonderful. Saves me having to mess around too much then. So, other manufacturers in the past have done such a thing. They've done a split launch. Ping have done one in the past. They've done a Australasia kind of launch where, I can remember, was it G430? Was it G430, Andy, that they done Australia in that lot first, because Alex Etches was one of the very first who got the reviews out, and we're talking it was in August or something. Of course, Pings didn't, or the G range don't normally land until January, I think it is, when it comes to normal embargo. So other manufacturers do it. I have other surprises of which you can't quite see, because how the video cuts off, it cuts off at this level, and you can't quite see. Well, you can see, because I have, you have the unfiltered, complete, massive view of me. You don't want a big,
unfortunately,
view of me. Cool. So I do have certain things down here, which obviously, again, we've got to be careful what we show and what we don't show. These are the new Mizuno drivers. I don't think there's any. Is there anywhere online, Andy, that the name has been?
Oh yeah, no, there's plenty of pictures, names, pictures, everything. Even the material is public now.
Oh, there you go. Yes, on WRX. Bucket 5 says, yeah. Well, most stuff is. Okay, well that's fine. We can chat about certain things about them anyway. Should we do the irons or drivers first? Andy, what do you think? What do you prefer?
Mm-hmm. I don't know what you're going to say, really. So let's find out.
Okay, fair enough then. So the big thing about the drivers, let's do the drivers very quickly. Then we'll go into the irons. We won't talk obviously too much in depth because I'm not allowed to. However, there has been as Andy has pointed out, quite a bit of chit chat around the water cooler about the new irons and drivers, and it's basically everywhere. Andy seems very nervous. Andy doesn't get nervous. And he hasn't got any nerves. So there's certain things about this driver which I would like to point out, and that's the color scheme. Now, I'm not going to show you the total driver, but can you see the color scheme that I am starting to kind of on the cut off of the screen? It's a very, very interesting color, really very interesting color. And what I would like to say, it is a very nice, it's a very nice hue of blue. Well, it's got, no, actually, to be fair, being honest with it, it's got a bluey purpleness to it. So
it's that the color changes because I guess the way they inlaid the color below the lacquer, that depending on which way you look at it, the color changes tone just a little bit.
And we've got the carbon underneath there, which I'm not going to go too much into, but we've got carbon underneath there as well. There's a very interesting direction that Mizuno have gone this year. Massively different to the ST230 side of things, the Max CX and the ZZZ, Z, where do you are in the world. Different completely. So some people are going to like it, some people are not. And this is the only thing about going coloured. You will have polarising views. Andy, I think you're a fan.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. It's not anything too outrageous. It's just subtle, you know. In certain light, you might not even see the color. I think you like.
No.
So.
No, you can't. That's a very good point.
So.
The sole, though, with the exception of the color, which kind of carries on round the wrapping, round like that. There you go. That's about as much as you're going to see. There's no color there at all. So it's just normal driver-like. But it is somewhat different because obviously it has got that face. Everyone likes to talk about the face. There's a lot of information already on the internet about the face. And the face is quicker. And if you look at the graphs that you get from the media side of things, is much, much faster, like hugely faster. If you see the graphs on there, like one's down here, the titanium face is here, and then this one is up here. It's not until you look at the scale, mind, that you realise you are talking about 0.2 of a mile an hour. But it is faster. Every little helps. But being honest, a lot of the marketing around the new driver is not just about the fast face, it's just how fast it is everywhere. And again, we like talking about manufacturers who like prattling on with their marketing about how good a driver is at retaining ball speed across every part of the face. However, we all know, well, hopefully we should all know, with me doing enough of the driver reviews, that ball speed is important. Yes, it is, but it's how it launches, how it spins, and the distance factor heat map, which is far more important than the efficiency map. And why is that, Andy? What makes a driver different to an iron?
You know, different roll, different bulge areas of the face produce different amounts of spin and launch. And each one of those variations puts you in and out of your launch window. If you're right on the edge of a launch window and then you hit low on the face and now you're way below your launch window, you're gonna see a dramatic loss in distance, etc., etc. So it doesn't matter if the ball comes off the same speed, if it's coming off 2 to 3 degrees lower with 600 more spin, that's gonna cost you.
There you go. Different with a flat-faced iron. Eric says, marketing, Jay, is always different due to marketing. Absolutely. Marketing is a wonderful thing at trying to suggest a certain thing, which is provable under certain circumstances and certain conditions, which commonly has basically no effect on the average golfer whatsoever. But it is true. So, well, let's make sure we haven't missed anything on here. Ski says, are hybrids and fairways releasing same time as drivers? Yes, they are. I have not as yet hit them. I have done all the B-roll for everything. Well, I have now, tell a small lie. I did the M13, M15. I'm allowed to say the names now because obviously it's been out there for I don't know how long. And of course it's out there in Japan anyway. But I've done the M13, M15 videos, the hitting part of the videos. I haven't done the numbers side yet. And when I was I've done the 9, 7 and the 5. So I've got 3 golf clubs that from Mizuno as samples, the 9 iron, the 7 iron, the 5 iron. On the M13, of course, we do have a bit of a weird technology difference. We have a split tech, and well, 243 had split tech, didn't it, Andy? It wasn't all just micro slot all the way through.
Yeah, Mizuno like doing that in some of the longer irons. You know, they do something a bit more titanium or something in the longer irons to get the ball up.
And they've done something massively different with the M13. I honestly, where are you, old girl? There you are. You definitely know which one you're going to be picking up, because I would like to say one thing, and this is hopefully not giving away too much. The top line on an M13 is ridiculously small. Anyone who likes an iron with a tiny top line, you're going to love the M13. It's shaveable, that thin. Hang on, got to be careful, I can't. Oh, I've done the M15 one before. This is the M13. Obviously, I'm not going to go into full shot, into full focus, etc. But it is small. Small in the S1, S3. No, it's not as small as the S1. It's designed to sit along basically the S3, and the two look very, very similar. Woodwork, blendable aesthetics, very much so. Wise, it would. Performance is a different matter. I'm not going to go into too much, obviously, on the performance side of things, but the M13 replaces 243. Okay, how do we say this, Andy? The 243 is dead.
Like it doesn't replace the 243. It's just in place.
It doesn't replace. It's in place of. So. And I understand no one who's seen the data, the metrics as yet, knows what we're talking about. So the 243 was a very, very, very good iron in certain respects, in certain different metrics. The M13 is a different iron. It is not designed to build on Pro 243 and whatever it would be. It's not designed to build on it. It's designed to be in place of it. They're going a different direction. They're doing a different thing. If you were to compare the sizes of Pro 243 to M13, like sole size, 243 is bigger. The club itself is bigger. It's a bigger chassis. M13 is different. I've got to be careful what I say about M15. Apart from you do have to watch that video, because without giving away too much, the M15 shocked me that much that I had to redo the data set again, and it makes no difference. It still performs exactly how it performs. I'm not going to say it's good. I'm not going to say it's bad. It's a player's distance iron. It's hollow bodied. It's supposed to do a certain thing. It does something quite uniquely. What do you think, Andy? How did I do?
Yeah, I like the only thing I think is it's almost a disservice to call it a player's distance iron. Can we get away with it?
No. You're absolutely right. When it comes to its category, absolutely the Pro M15, the Mizuno Pro, yeah, because you kind of get tagged into the Pro 245, and then Pro M13 doesn't really want to work. M15, it is a player's distance iron. It's very much so a fat boy version of their Blade S1. It is a player's distance iron. It's definitely the one that you would see the players kind of go to as a replacement to a long iron. I think we'd be right in saying, so it is definitely
Probably.
A player's distance iron. It's not supposed to be. I think we're allowed to say it's good. We'll go as far as saying it's good, and it's not supposed to be good because it's a player's distance iron. Player's distance irons commonly do quite poorly. Although, should we have the JPX 925 forged in the player's distance? because technically, lofty-wise, it is. But what denotes a player's distance? Does it have to be hollow-bodied? What do you think?
The reason why we think it has to be hollow-bodied is really because the 790 was kind of the birth of the player's distance iron.
It was. Absolutely was. 100%.
And, since then, that's basically the design blueprint is the hollow body. That way they can mess with the CG as much as possible.
Sorry, Andy. I just want to pick up Pete Galindez message on chat. This is a waste of time, too much dancing around. Do this in a few weeks when all the new stuff is released. Happy holidays. Well, at least he finished it on something pleasant. So Pete, do you not realise that this is a pre-embargo show? The hint is in the title, pre-embargo. I am obviously allowed to say certain things. I'm allowed not to. The fact that there's no information out there whatsoever, I'm trying to skirt round as best I can to talk about something as best I can whilst getting away with it and not getting in trouble. I'm trying to do the best I can to try and get as much information out there and hints and tips and bits and pieces what's coming as best I can. What do you expect? It's a pre-embargo show. But thanks for the chat message. Come on, Pete. Anyway, Edward says, I really need an iron that is green across the entire face and the hosel as well, actually. The hosel. I love that one. If they can put grooves on the hosel, that would help me. I've never seen... I've seen a hosel with those flutes for airflow. But there you go. Sorry, Andy, I did get in the way.
I'm just catching up.
Edward, Pete has replied. I get it, was trying to force more information out of you. Cheers, can't blame me for trying. Okay. Jay Rashner says Pete uses iron head covers. I use iron head covers. So Pete and I got something in common there, we do. If he uses, I don't know, I use them anyway. I like to keep things nice and shiny. Sorry, Andy, I kind of stopped
you off
there.
Again.
Yeah, go for it.
Just the theme for today. I don't even remember what I was saying.
P790 and all that lot.
Oh yeah, P790. So yeah, that was the birth of the player's distance iron. So trying to get a forged like product, with as much distance out of it as you can, and they went hollow bodied in order to increase the speed of the face. Filled it with foam to make it not sound like a firecracker. So if you're gonna talk players distance, that's the foundation to work from. But but we've seen the trend of players distance irons where they've gone all out on the speed and for a good ball striker, that's fine. If you're gonna hit the middle very often, having the fastest face is great. But I've always said that the player's distance iron is not the bridge club for the average golfer towards player's irons. You shouldn't be going from game improvement irons to player's distance irons on the way to player's irons, because
they see it.
That's what they meant to, but what they've been led to believe. But that in reality is that'll screw your game up faster than anything, because now you've got faster clubs that do far more damage when you miss hit in general than a game improvement iron.
Yeah. And this is where the Forge, 925 Forge, I've kind of always struggled with a little bit, because loft-wise it is bang on in the player's distance. It's too strong to be in the player's cavity sector, although it has a cavity. But really, what is the difference between an I-230 is a perfect example. An I-230 effectively is a cavity iron. It's just got a cheap badge on the back, basically. It's hollow on the basis of it's got a cheap badge, but if you would just get a JPX 925 Forge and put a very cheap badge flush with the back, it's now hollow bodied, really. And so, but that's why we put the 925 Forged in the hollow body player's distance category, because of.
At the end of the day, they're just a forged game improvement iron. is what you could look at it like. They're
Yeah.
just there is no there. I mean, the fact it was a nice marketing ploy by TaylorMade to come up with a whole new way
Oh,
of looking at
wow.
it.
They are amazing. How they basically reinvigorated a certain part of the sector of golf was just, you got to clap your hands and take your hats off to them. You really do. What they did there was, for all they chased it. Of course, as soon as TaylorMade brought out the P790, it literally sold like hotcakes. The marketing was so ridiculously strong on it. It performed all right. It did all right, but it was the selling of it which done really well, and obviously the marketing of it as well. And it forced all the other manufacturers to go, crap, we got to do something quick. We got to make something quick. No different to the mini drivers and the chippers of the world, and it's that kind of thing.
Yeah, and they also had the perfect timing with it when it was Callaway and all the others were like 27-degree 7-irons, yeah. Don't get me started on lofts. There is the right loft for every person. A 27-degree 7-iron will fit a certain person. It's not bad by any means. But then you had this
It's fine if it
31
goes that
degree
way.
you had this 30.5-degree iron, right, which was going away from the strong lofts, but supposedly going just as far. So. But
It's
yeah.
an interesting one. I'm looking forward to releasing the M15 video. It will. So all the information anyway is ready to go on AskGolfNut.com. All the radar charts, all the heat maps, all the self-fit tool, all the different parts are all there for people to see if it will be useful for them to test, shall we say. And it will be released on the nose of 2 p.m. UK time on the 5th. It's quite surprising.
Yeah.
Mark says late arriving.
I don't think it matches the tropes of the Blaze distance iron.
No. I mean, it's built effectively. I could see beforehand the JPX 925 Forge was the go-to golf club for any Mizuno player who wanted a really good, quite quick, all-round, really good consistency or forgiveness. It just done everything really, really well. And it was lofted relatively sensibly as well. The only problem now, obviously, with the M15, I won't go into too much detail because
They have a lot of clubs in a very small area of the market.
Mizuno have a lot of clubs. I mean, they've got 8.
Yeah.
Hot metal high launch.
2 S's. Yeah.
4 JPXs?
High launch, pro, standard.
Oh yeah, pro,
forged.
yeah, as well, HL. Then the forged, and then they've got 8. They have got 8. That's a lot. They could probably get rid of at least 2 of those, being honest. Eric's saying, so Andy's confirming that Carl's friend should always play blades. Heroes, yeah. Pete says, how did he know I use iron covers? If you bought and sold irons as much as I do, you would too. Back on track, looking forward to the 243 replacement. I liked it, but too chunky for me. Well, Pete, if you didn't like the 243 on the basis of its aesthetics being too chunky, you're going to absolutely love the M13. The M13 is a little wee beastie, and the amount of technology they've literally rammed up its backside is quite impressive. We'll have to, yeah, I've got all the information when it comes to what is in different irons. There is a staggered difference within the technology of the M13. And I hit the 9, 7 and 5 and just talk through quickly on the video, the different parts of technology. No, I can't say. I was going to say something, but it would then potentially breach embargo because it would be discussing what's inside the head and stuff. And I can't do that. Late arriving, anything new? No, we're just talking about the irons, and then also we did have a little sneak peek at the driver. That's about as much of the hue, the blue hue that you're going to see is a very, very good looking driver, this thing is. We got any news on when the new Wilson irons will release? Okay, yes. Now I'm going to walk up off my chair because I want to make sure that I get the right ones. Yep. Oh, I picked my favourite up straight away. That's the blade. I think, Andy, tell me if I'm wrong. Is it 20? I want to say it's something like the 25th. I want to say it's the
25th. Catalog, 26 catalog.
They look really nice. And I'll tell you what does look really very, very nice as a combo set for anyone who's interested. And if they are Wilson in any which way, shape or form, it's the X, and I can say it because it's out now. Well, no, that's a Shrixon one. Their new Player's Distance iron, I haven't hit them yet. And I haven't hit them, so I don't know how well they perform. But the XB and the blade look incredibly good. As in, this is the XB, and I won't give too much information out here, but they look, the blendable wise, look amazing. Like really, really do. But that's not until the back end. I think they are the last. They are the last of the embargo dates. He who shouts last shouts loudest.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see the dates on those, but
I think it's 25th. I want to say 25th. I have it on my phone somewhere when I've been given the information. So make sure I don't miss any of there. So Edward says, I currently game the i230. I'm a 10 handicap and have played consistency for the past 4 years. I have never been fit or had a lesson. Go you. I feel like I've reached a plateau. I guess it's time to see a break.
10 handicap without a lesson is pretty good.
Well, technically, I've never had a lesson. Technically, I've never had a lesson. When you get pros together, we all chat and bits and pieces, and we talk about what we did when it comes to, we had this client in, this person in doing this, do this, and then say, oh yeah, we do that. And then we always sort of critique our own swings and stuff like that. But I've never actually had a proper lesson. There you go. Where we got to? I don't want to miss anyone's. But when it comes to Edward, you can do everything yourself. I am living proof you can do everything yourself. However, it is much easier potentially when you have someone giving you a very good, educated understanding of the direction you could go to make it faster. It's a lot easier when you've got the direction to go. Let's just make sure I'm not missing out on anybody. Mark says there are better options than the i230, but it's still a really good club. It's a very, very good, consistent golf club. But Andy, I think, isn't it relatively slow?
Yeah, I mean, there's a point where your swing speed's going to get too slow to really, use any of the longer irons, even with the added loft. But yeah. I mean, if you're on the, I think if you're anywhere between 80 and 85, it's probably a good fit. If you can't get your hands on speed. If you're below 80 though, you probably want something that's just a touch faster off the face, just to keep your distances up.
JRH says, blink twice if M15 launch factor is greater than the ZXi-R.
He would blink, but he doesn't know off the top of his head. So
no, I don't know. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. I know.
That's the thing. The interesting thing about the IR and the IR-HL, the design of the HL. Wait, are we launched? Can we talk? We can't even talk about the HL. Never mind.
What the ZXi-R?
Wait, did we release those?
They were early December, 6th of December. They were.
Oh, that's weird. Anyway, well, oh no, that's right. The embargo was the 6th of December, but they're not officially released till January.
Yeah. Point
Yeah,
of retail
anyway,
dates
idiot.
later on, but yeah.
Idiot. Yeah, the launch, I mean, like they say high launch, but the high launch really comes from just the added loft. There's no super high launch factor added them. There are other irons that have better launch factors, but it's the combination of the loft plus the speed that makes them go really high.
And the conversations we've had before, not necessarily going super chunky and moving center of gravity with loft and stuff like that. Does it actually make it launch actually higher? Sometimes by doing what they do can actually make it launch slightly worse, or at least have no difference when it comes to loft-to-loft adjusted launch factor.
Yeah, you can't. It's the adding loft reduces smash. So there's a point where adding loft reduces your smash to the point where you lower your ball speed too low to get the peak height. So there is a magic point where, for any given swing speed, loft doesn't add more height, and then you get that diminishing returns.
Eric says, Jay, can you say if the new releases give Mizuno some overlap problems with the JPX line? I think, kind of skirt between the lines here. I think they have definitely gone a different direction in which they feel that their new releases are going to be directed to, and they have made sure that there's sufficient choice for people should that same golfer want to go multiple different routes. There you go. Well, thank you very kindly. Name withdrawn, super chatted $4. Thank you very, very much. Have I got a big old thumbs up? Chicken jockey. We're giving in. Name withdrawn. Go on, a bit of thumbs up. Thank you. Ooh, I can't.
Where are we next? Embargo dates. Thoughts on the Tour Edge Max driver for moderate swing speeds? Tour Edge Max. We reviewed the Tour Edge Max, right? No, I'm the one down. No, no. Yeah. But yeah, between the functional differences and the loft differences, they don't. You'd have to do some weird something at the joint to make it work. Uh-oh, you muted. They said you muted yourself. You just.
How did I do that?
I don't know. Do you still have your mute hotkey that you accidentally hit?
I haven't touched the keyboard in a while.
Is he still muted?
No, I'm good now.
Good now.
Yeah, I'm good now. I can see. How long? how long have I been chatting?
The most information you just spilled so far is the bit.
I gave all that information out. What was it? What did I say? And I'll go
You want to
back.
get a set of M15s 3 week.
Yes. So I was thinking about personally, I might get a set of M15s, but bent 3 degrees weak, and 1 degree in lie. Mizuno, generally speaking, will only have the 3 degree rule. Obviously 2 degrees in loft, 1 degree in lie, 2 degrees in lie, 1 degree in loft. So they'll only bend a maximum of 3 degrees. That's because they don't want to deform anything or put dents in anything or anything else like that. I will ask them, just look, bend them. Because I think, I don't care if there's marks. You'll have to watch the video on that one. So I want to make sure I don't miss anybody's, because we got lots in there for already go to get sign up for full disclosure stuff. Where do I go to sign up for full disclosure stuff?
Mizuno media team contract,
Yeah.
NDA.
Yeah, if you can sign a non-disclosure agreement, we're rocking. YouTube has been my teacher on equipment and swing. That's a risky undertaking sometimes. YouTube, there is a smorgasbord of not always useful information, we'll call it that. But you can, there's some good bits and there's some horrific information. Got to hit the same shaft for best comparison.
No.
Oh, for who? Not for me. Makes no difference for me. But yeah. So what are the embargo dates, if you can say? Yes, I can. The 5th. I have not yet decided, and I might put a poll out there on my Discord. If you want to go on Discord, guys, and get involved, on the top right of your screen, which is kind of over there for me, yeah, there is an invite. That is the link you need, or I've got it in my video description, etc. It's a bit of fun on Discord because you can do a lot more things on Discord than you can do in YouTube comments. You can add pictures, you can do many different things, obviously attachments, etc., which you can't do in comments. The YouTube comments are a bit of a pain in the backside for me because I get notified of the first comment. I don't necessarily get notified of any replies, which is, again, a bit daft. But there you go. So by far, Discord is the best option. But there's already been some certain information that's been popped out there already about the M13, M15, but nothing which contravenes any form of embargo. One of my thoughts on the Tour Edge Max driver for moderate swing speeds. Andy, you were going to do that one, weren't you? Because you jumped to it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, depends what your definition of moderate is. I mean, if we're talking moderate, then that's sub
95?
94. Yeah, sub 94 is the upper. Yeah, moderate is the upper edge of moderate. Yeah, the Tour Edge Max. I mean, all the Tour Edges are pretty good. I mean, I've on Discord right now. I've been publishing a lot of math and theory on how there's a benefit to playing the LS heads on the highest loft possible if you're a slow swinger, because it gives you the launch and low spin to get you in the window. It's almost impossible to have too low a spin on a driver unless you're like below 1800. But by adding loft to an LS head, you kind of you get the chance to put yourself in that window where you're at 14 degrees of launch instead of 10 degrees of launch. 10 degrees of launch, no amount of spin is going to give you enough height to get out there.
Never to optimize flight, at least. So you can add spin. You can go for something like a ZXi head, which is a very spinny driver, which is not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just different golfers will suit different things. And if you're someone who produces literally no spin loft whatsoever and you need some spin, then absolutely that would be a driver that you go. But it's, as soon as you start looking at your spin to try and get the peak height that you need, to try and get the height that you need, your launch window, etc., the problem is you're wasting so much in the way of drag that going to a higher launch to start with and a lower spin profile would be better.
Oh yeah, you guys gotta remember, it's like if I don't have a ball near me here, but if I simulate this screwdriver as a ball and it's spinning, right, it's traveling this way and it's spinning backwards. The lift force is perpendicular to the direction of travel. So if the ball's going diagonally up in the air like this, the lift force actually points this way, which is slightly back of vertical. So the part of the lift actually turns into drag because it's pointing away from the direction of travel. So the more you spin for the same angle, the more it slows the ball down. It adds lift, yes, but the amount, but if you're getting 10 degrees launch, 10%, 10 degrees of the thing points the other way. So you want to add launch angle without adding spin is the best possible combination.
Yeah, I mean, it might be fun to do some work with that one when the knee's improved and going to a. The problem is, and this is the issue, and you'll probably know this one, Andy. The more we've been doing the drivers and so adding all the specs into the website, etc. The tricky thing is a lot of the times when you're looking at the max heads, they'll make them in the 9 degree, they'll make them in the 10.5 degree, they'll make them in the 12 degrees. As soon as you go to the LS heads, the low spin heads, they commonly don't make anything above 10.5 degrees. They don't make the 12 degree head, and it is a little bit frustrating because, again, it is just an area where they could potentially unlock more distance from golfers, having that potential to go to that super high lofted head to get the launch angle, but not do what they normally would do and spin it like crazy.
And the current mentality is that more MOI means more forgiveness, right? And it's not. We're not talking about face. We're not talking about face speed forgiveness when we're talking about MOI. MOI doesn't add face speed forgiveness, right? It's not how much ball speed you get from when you strike the face. It's how much the head twists when you miss it, right? The higher the MOI, the less it's able to twist.
Yeah.
Right. But so that supposedly helps stop the ball curving because it doesn't twist, therefore it doesn't curve as much. But you could do this almost the same benefit from adding more loft. Adding more loft reduces the ratio of spin axis to tilt axis, so spin loft versus tilt. So you're better off playing an LS head, which is slightly lower MOI but more loft, will curve the ball less than a higher MOI club that spins more.
Effectively, the higher loft you have, if you have a face to path deviation, it won't curve the golf ball as much.
Yes. That's why it's much easier to hit a 9-iron straighter than a 5-iron.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with the MOI of the 5-iron. It's to do with the fact that the loft's lower.
Deeply.
So any error that you make is exaggerated the lower the loft. So if you increase the loft, you gain more forgiveness than the higher MOI. Because the LS heads now are 9K. Jesus Christ, 9K MOI in the LS heads.
I mean, that's back in the, well, not even back in the day, back 5 years ago as like, wow, the most forgiving driver. On the planet.
From 2016, 9K would have been breaking records. So now the LS heads are approaching 9K. And the difference between 9 and 10K is nothing. It does absolutely nothing.
No.
So you'd be better off playing the 9K at 12 degrees in the LS than the 10.5 in the 10K.
Edward says, any chance the new Mizuno utility iron is close to the IDI? I use the ID as a 4-iron. Well, yeah. Some people are going to love it when it comes to the driving irons or utility irons, whatever you want to call them. Effectively, they are those things. I am always going to go down the route of a hybrid will always win. And it will in the vast majority of situations. However, if you're talking about the golfer, the person with the grey matter, the person with the feeling, the person with the preferences, the person that has their own tendencies, whatever that will be, and you try and convince them that the hybrid is the way to go, or the very high lofted fairway wood is the way to go, no, they will not have it, they don't like it, and they will persevere with their driving iron, and absolutely fine, no worries. You have to coach the individual, you can't just coach the group. So for them, I haven't hit it yet. Mizuno, in their wisdom, of which I picked up straight away, as soon as I had the email to say what samples are coming, the first thing I did was, no Mizuno Fly High then? Pro Fly High? Don't you care about that one this year? And they went, oh yeah, well, we didn't get that done in time, so they're not coming. Right, so do you not care about it, or do you want me to review it, or what? And effectively what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to wait for it to come to point of retail, which is generally speaking for, let's say, Mizuno, 5th of January is going to be something on the lines of like the first week in February, maybe, right at the very early February, last week in January. So I'm not going to get that one in probably until mid-February at the very earliest to test, because no one has got it. No one. Well, no one in Europe anyway. I don't know what the American side of things are like, because obviously when it comes to US, Mizuno have got their own side of things for the US, and no doubt they'll have the Pro Fly High. It just makes no sense not sending out the Pro Fly High, but then again, there you go. It's one of those things. Considering how many views that I have got from that, or those, because obviously they've done 2 now, it is well worth doing. And it shows that enough people really do like the driving iron or the utility iron idea, and so why Mizuno wouldn't send that out to every single reviewer as a part of their media samples makes no sense to me, but there you go. Have you ever hit the Shrixon blades, Jay? No, I have not, actually. Not in test situations. I have hit them, but only to mess around, but not in a test environment, not to actually gain information, not on a launch monitor, etc. They look really nice. They are old now, very old. They're kind of going back to like Ping iBladey, kind of staying around forever idea. Because how long was the Ping iBlade around for, Andy? It was what? I want to say 6 years, 7 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, they really didn't replace it because they didn't want to replace it, right? Ping were very adamant about making blades in period.
Well,
so.
Blueprint T came out.
Ping don't like blades.
No, the reason why any form of forged iron that Ping make is always ridiculously expensive is because they are not built for it. They haven't got the processing. They haven't got the manufacturing to do forged irons. They are solely, and have been always, within reason, a cast manufacturer. They do cast probably better than most. They're the only cast manufacturer that has the capability of bending the loft and lie. No other cast manufacturer can bend in the same way a Ping can, which is just brilliant for custom fitting. It's really very, very good. Mark says best non-answer. It's possibly one of the things that I've said earlier on. I know, I do try my best. Bodoc says Mizuno just told me that M15 will be lefty. So my
13.
Sorry, M13 will be lefty. I thought it, well, the information that I managed to glean this afternoon was yes. Again, that didn't come from Mizuno because I did ask the question from Mizuno, and as they haven't said anything, they've ignored. It was just a simple yes or a no would have been good, but no, didn't get anything back. So I managed to find the information that I found on the internet, and M13, yes, available LH, RH. When it comes to M15, only available in RH.
And I think this time around too, in the 243s had a 2 and 3 iron option.
Yes.
And the M13 does not have a 2-3 option.
Well, the M15 doesn't have a 2 and 3.
No, the 13.
No.
Neither of them do.
No, because M13 is 243. 243 wasn't available in a 2 iron, only 245.
Okay. Whichever one it was.
But yeah, you are right.
There's no 2 or 3 irons.
I was expecting that very thing. When I put the information into the website, to put all the bits and pieces in, I was expecting to have to add a column or row for the 2 iron and 3 iron, but no, they don't have it, which, okay, you would argue with a 4 iron at what degrees is it? 18, 19 degrees? I can't remember.
You put it in, you tell me.
Oh, I don't know. Hang on, bear with. I might be able to have a quick look on my M15, their club specs. Have I got club specs on there? I haven't done it yet. No, because I haven't done it yet because, well, I've got the club specs on here for the M13. So the 4 irons
are 20.
20. Okay, so it's 22 on the M13. 20 degrees for a 4-iron is fairly strong anyway. Don't necessarily think they'll need to go 2-iron. Can you imagine what a 2-iron would have to be? It'd be like 16 degrees.
Yeah.
Like, wow, people. Get that ball off the floor. Just want to say thank you very much again to Name Withdrawn for the very, very kind donation. Thank you very, very much for that. Mark says, hi, looking for a new set of irons in the new year. Anything you'd recommend trying for a 70-mile-an-hour swing speed that will give enough launch and land angle without sacrificing too much control? Mark, honestly, the best way to do it, if you are honestly thinking about buying golf clubs, and this is the crux of it, if you are going to spend your money, it is imperative that you spend your money wisely. Golf clubs are ridiculously expensive. I think everyone would agree that they are really, really expensive. Right, so that being said, what I would do in the new year, when you're seriously looking at buying a set of golf clubs, of course, we've got all of the new golf clubs coming out, all the new 2026 releases, etc. www.askgolfnut.com. On that website, when you subscribe to different tiers, whichever one it would be, honestly, the gold tier for you, if you're honestly thinking about buying a set of golf clubs, is invaluable to you, because what you need to do is put all of your data in there. You know your swing speed. If you've got your angle attack and your club loft delivery, how much you de-loft or add loft. Again, if you pop on Discord, we can help you when it comes to ascertaining what your numbers are. You can check every single one of the 100+ irons that we have available against how you swing, and you will distinctly see if there is a win going one way or the other. That's the reason why AskGolfNut.com was made, was to allow golfers to put all their information in so they can ascertain if it's going to be worthwhile for them or not. Just stuff costs so much money, and there are tools now available to make sure that you can have a look at all these different golf clubs and see how they compare and how they launch and how they land. www.askgolfnut.com. I think Andy's going to be dumping in. He's on the old chat.
Yeah, I'm just typing.
Right, I've got through all my can't hear you now, because that's me. Right, 925 HM Pro or HL, very much so depending on how you deliver slow swing speed. So I would, again, it's that classic thing of, you got the heat maps, etc., to see which one's more forgiving or more consistent than the others. But what you're talking about with a certain swing speed, a certain launch, a certain whatever it would be, is you need the self-fit tool. You need to put all your data in the self-fit tool and physically see how they fly, and what of the Hot Metal Pro or Hot Metal High Launch has a better flight for you. Typing, JW, I can't remember that. We missed the answer. Oh, that's
I was doing the muted part.
Yeah, did that. ZXIRHL is going to be incredibly hard to beat. It really is. It's a very, very good iron.
It's remarkable for the price point it's aimed at and the construction that it's got. It's it's crazy.
Now, Carl did say about a possible adding in bang for your buck kind of iron. Which one wins? The problem is, obviously, irons don't stay the same cost from start to finish. They change. So we'd have to go on MSRP. I don't know.
Yeah, and the IRHL might be in the top 3 of all irons regardless of price. So that kind of makes it moot in terms of bang for your buck, because there's nothing that comes close in the terms of price point. So if it's in the top 3 overall and at that price point, it's
Eric wants to know, will Mizuno keep the T1 and T3 wedges for 2020?
And that would have been 4 years in the future, but yeah, sure.
2026, he said afterwards. Yes. Yep, they are staying. I hear of nope, still don't hear. I don't hear of any talk whatsoever about changing those. They are definitely going to be
2 years at least, right?
2-year life cycle. Will Andy replace any clubs with 2026 models in the next 165 days?
Probably not.
Slow swing speed says Jay.
And not because there aren't any better ones than what I'm playing. There might be better ones than I'm playing. It's just not game breaking different.
And you're not playing enough.
Yeah, that's also true.
And it's winter. Jay, my demo cart is arriving with the MP15 head. Wow,
Nice.
with a little titanium backplate. My stock order is in. Set 925 forged in black. MP15. Oh, sorry, you're talking about the Mizuno Pro M15. Arriving with the Mizuno Pro M15 fitting head, not the MP15, because the MP15 was lost in translation. That'll be fun. The MP15 or Mizuno Pro M15. You let me know what you think of it. Chris says, is workability a thing in irons?
Well, it is a thing.
Well, yeah.
Workability is definitely a thing. You can definitely work an iron. What the question I think is there any difference between game improvement irons and players' irons in relation to workability?
Okay, let's do an answer for in the real world terms. No. Now, the second answer, in the real world terms, okay, so let's just split this one because there is a difference here. Workability, a lot of people see as the ability to curve the golf ball, laterally curve the golf ball. I don't see workability just in 2 dimensions. I see workability in 3 dimensions.
Up and down. Yeah, up and down.
Now, when it comes to laterally, just curvature, hook curvature, slice curvature, whatever it be, is there a physical difference between, in a real world term, between if you have the most game improvement iron, loft for loft adjusted and everything else like that, if you were to do a game improvement iron against a blade, is there any real world difference, face open 3 degrees, face open 3 degrees? No, there is not. They both do exactly the same thing. Now, you could argue from a golfer's perspective, yes, when you start making blade lengths a little bit bigger, then they have a slight propensity, potentially, again, this is all very much so to the human, a different rotation rate because you've got the center of mass away from the shaft. I won't bore you. If you are talking about the finite, we're talking finite, yes, but it's so finite in the real world terms you would never even see it. Now, the other way, this way, which I personally feel from my point of view is far more important than that way. Reason being because that way makes a difference, so that way is far more important. Yes, because if you're looking at a launch factor difference, which we know there's a difference in the database on AskGolfNut.com by how much, Andy?
0.68 to 0.82.
So that's what, 14% or 14? Yeah. So you're talking about if you had let's just do the difference between a 30-degree lofted head. Go on, Andy, quickly, off the top of your head.
4.5 degrees.
There you go, right. So we're talking 4.5. See, that's why he's here. on the fly, right? So you've got, in the database, on 2 identical 30-degree irons, you've got one that can launch 4 degrees difference. 4 degrees difference, which is huge. If you add speed, whatever speed you've got, that is massive. And so, yes, when it comes to workability in that sense, absolutely. And if you're dealing with something when it comes to, I would much rather have an iron that can go that way as best as it can, because I do not have any issue if I want to hit it knee high to a grasshopper. So I can hit it lower if I want to. But I would take height all day long, regardless of what speed, because I can always play with trajectory. If I'm playing with a golf club, which is 0.68, the lowest amount, I'm always restricted to the highest that I can hit it. I'm not getting any assistance from the iron itself. If I then go straight away to the 0.82, the one that hits it 4 degrees higher for the same loft, I mean, that for me is a massive win. So yes, in that sense. Did I miss anything out? Cool. Oh dear. Or does a 2-degree closed face depart create the same amount of curvature on a club? Yep, we've done that one. Hopefully that's helped, Chris. You will probably say down the bottom there if that's made sense or not. Andy, keep an eye on that one because I'm still struggling. There's people who are obviously commenting. If you were to go to game a set of S1, S3 set or M30, can you say which ones you'd be most interested in? Yeah, the S1, S3. Because I could work an S1, S3. I don't think really an M13, M15 would actually blend.
Yeah.
There's multiple reasons why it wouldn't, not just how the golf club performs, but how they are physically made. S1, S3, look at the loft difference. M13, M15, you guys will find out, look at the loft difference. And then you add then the performance difference metrics and yeah. There you go. Mark says, hi, what kind of efficiency would you look for ideally in an 8-iron in a fitting? That's a big ballpark question here because you're talking in 7-irons, you've got between 26 and 35.
And deliver loft is a huge difference too. If you deliver no loft, if you deliver static loft, the versus 10 degrees down, you know,
yeah,
it's 1.4 versus 1.3.
You're 100% right. So if you've got a difference in 7-irons between 26 and 35, I mean, that's huge in itself. But then if you then add the differences in golfer, how they react to different shafts and how they de-loft anyway, and they have their variation of delivery, I mean, you could have 10 plus degrees, 15 degrees of difference. So smash-wise or efficiency, the difference between that is so colossal. It's much more down, if you said, Mark, if you said to me, right, I'm swinging at 80 miles an hour, I deliver 3 degrees less loft than static, and I'm using this golf club, I could then look at the 8-iron and say it's this loft, expect to get this kind of smash or efficiency, which is good or not good, and then I could give you an answer. At the moment, unfortunately, there's too many variables that we can't necessarily depict from just that one sentence. Eric says, from the Mizuno line, are we expecting any update to the putter line for the new year? Putter line, you say, Eric? Well, I have you ask on that one. Obviously, I've got to be careful what I show, because again, these are the 7th, but there is something here. It's gone. It's here again. It's gone. That one is like a fangy type one. There you go. You can see it, but you can't. Let's get another one, because I think I've got 4. Ready? Dun 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 dun. It's got to be careful, you see, you can't see too much. There's got to be enough teasy, but you can't see it. It got interesting names though. I possibly prefer the original names that they had. I'll go get the other 2 because it'll probably be a little bit quicker and easier than me messing around, dancing around. And we've got another one of these things. Nice head covers though, and also we've got nice head covers with that on the front, which is always quite nice. But again, that's polarizing. Some people like it, some people won't. There you go. That was the show. I'm not doing any more. And then last one. Head covers are really good. So I'm just going to put this one down for a second. These head covers are like properly nice. Like the feel of it is really, really good. It's properly thick, good quality, and magnetic as well. There you go. But then, no. There we go. That's enough. Can't do any more. Obviously, that's pre-embargo. So, but yes, on the answer to that one, they are doing putters. Ball, no. Wedges are here for a while. Mark says also why I feel game improvement lofts don't really ever help new golfers. The super strong ones definitely can cause an issue. Snoopy Golf, what day are these irons getting released in the US? Same day. So when it comes to the embargo date of all the reviews, it's January the 5th at 2 p.m. UK time, whatever time that is in the UK, in the US, sorry. So that is when everyone is going to be releasing their stuff. I still don't know yet if I'm going to be doing M13 and then M15 on the same day, or I do M15 first, then M13. Not sure yet. Eric says the hybrid is the way to go, but a long iron when smashed feels so good. That it does. There's not many things as satisfying as absolutely just nubbing one right out the screws when you're talking about something that has about 20 degrees of loft. It may not go very far, and it may go knee-high to a grasshopper, but you are right. YouTube cough. I think I hit the M for microphone mute in time. We have TJ O'Leary. I got the chance to hit the new Strixon ZXIR HL today. Wow, that club is really something special if you struggle hitting your irons. It's really very, very good. Also, and I said this to Andy when I was testing this, I don't know if I've got it round here, very, very quickly for me to, is it one of these? No. I've got here the Zexio stuff, and I can't see it off the top of my head. It might be down there. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Found it. It was hiding. Oh, no, it can't be that stuff because that stuff has still got wrappers on it, so it must be over there. I've got the Zexio 14 and the 14 Plus. The standard 14, the super massive one, just ridiculously easy. Just ridiculously easy, and that, I think, Andy, for gold members, is that one that is live, isn't it? Even though we haven't done the video yet, the gold members on AskGolfNut.com, they've got access to that, I think. So generally speaking, guys, when it comes to AskGolfNut.com, for the gold people, for the top tier members, the ones that support us the most effectively, we give them early access to certain data. Now, of course, that's very, very difficult when it comes to pre-embargo stuff, because again, unfortunately, there are too many people out there, as everything's got bigger, where we used to know who to trust effectively. The problem is, as everything's got bigger and there's more people, we have found certain snippets that have been taken and then popped onto online, of course. The last thing I want to do is get myself in trouble, so I've got to be careful what I say, etc. But yeah, for anything which is not embargoed, any review that we've got coming up, generally speaking, we'll pop the information out there for the guys on gold tier to see how it actually performs prior to the review. Right, Edward says the new Ping IDI is the only utility iron I've ever liked. For me, it launches like a hybrid and just goes straight for me. Put a Tensei AV Blue 80 gram HY stiff shaft in it. Again, some people will love it, some people won't. It's just, again, it's like chippers. It's like many things like that, unfortunately. Different people will like different things. Anything in the Mizuno ball world new? Last year's Pro SX were exceptional. They are still current. However, I'm not going to be using them. Because two reasons. One, I'm a Pro S player, as in a Pro V1 player or a softball player. I don't like a hard golf ball. So even for my swing speed, I should play the X. Or I should play, yeah, who cares? It makes no difference. But I don't like the crisp feeling. Andy, what ball do you prefer the feel of, soft or hard?
I never ever chose based on that sound feel feedback. I always ended up going towards softer, lower spinning balls just because they produce better results for me overall.
In what respect? When it comes to your irons, when it comes to driver?
Yeah, mainly off the tee, just cuts down on dispersion having a softer, lower spinning ball.
Yeah, so I've always fit myself, and I've always fitted in the past people properly from the green backwards. I've never personally worried about the tee, really. You especially, I mean, you've got so much speed anyway that it really doesn't really matter if you lose 10 yards. Because you're 50 ahead of most people anyway.
Yeah, that's cutting the curvature down was my goal.
Yeah, so I always go putter first, and I'm a great feel person. I love the sound of a soft golf ball, so I'll do putter, then chipping, then approach play, iron play, and the very last ever consideration I have is basically with driver. But everyone's different. Just because I've always fit from the green backwards doesn't mean I'm right.
Yeah, I mean, it depends where your strength lies, isn't it? I mean, I don't have that on green feeling where like the ball that I'm hitting is going to make any real difference to my putt. And
Well, you're a
from
good
a
putter
mental,
anyway.
yeah, so I'm saying is from a mental standpoint, I don't have any issues. I don't care if the ball's going to click, if it's going to smush on the putter, I don't really care. It's going to in my head, it's going to go in the same place no matter what. You could argue that there's a speed difference, but in terms of directionality, I don't think there's any real difference.
Eric is taking off,
Yeah,
leaving on a
going
jet
to
plane.
Saint-Tropez.
4 models in Jan, yeah, and he's got his little, I like that one, little emoji. I wish you could view the MaxFly XC2-3 irons, they're really good. Can you get multi irons? I believe they are the same. I'm quite happy to reach out to them if we've got any form of media link rather than just the classic customer service or info. Commonly, if you imagine, guys, with the influx of YouTube channels just exploding, and not just YouTube channels, it's going to be TikTok and all these other media platforms. All these companies basically get inundated with constant amounts of, I get inundated daily with my email from companies trying basically to say, if we give you money, will you say this on your next YouTube video? Will you show this off? Will you put in a 20-second clip of this, that, or anything else? So I get it daily, of which obviously I don't put anything else. So the YouTube ads, I have no control over. So I apologize now if you've ever seen a YouTube ad which is completely inappropriate for you. I have no control over those. I do have control, obviously, of who I choose to support by taking money to put and give time on the channel, of which I do none, because I don't think it's right. Other people are different, it's fine. But if you can imagine that on the manufacturer's side, it's just colossal. So rather than having the info at or customer services at, if someone has got a media link email, then absolutely happy to reach out, so we can actually talk to someone rather than basically a bot that's just going to be fighting off all the chaff. I believe Bryson's 5-iron is 16 degrees. He is not human. He is. You're right on that one. And it says speed not delofting much allows you to play stronger lofts. Pete says no one's information comes close to Ask or GolfNut. That's true. The information over the last year and a bit, I think, ever since Andy and I have been working together, it's just it's just gone from strength to strength for measured metrics. Now, I always did my best I possibly could do in the past, and of course we still get examples in the past of videos that I've done where I've tried to critique on the fly individual shots from different bits, which now unfortunately don't line up to what the measured data is, because again, I'm picking up on one specific snapshot, and in my head on the fly I'm trying to do all the different calculations for all the different slights, face to path and lofts and all these different things. And of course there is always going to be, with the human side of things, a little bit of give and take. The problem is with these kind of things that we've found, you can't afford to have give and take. Now, one of the things that we did find when we're looking at doing all the tests that we do, the amount of times that we've done the tests and continue to do all the tests, they keep on coming up with the same results all the time. And it is hilarious how you can do the same test with the same golf club but 6 months apart, and put that information in, the new data set in, and it just comes out again exactly the same. So yeah, what we do nowadays is, at the moment, as good as we can do it. That's not to say that in the future we'll find another way to try and hit another decimal place. Pete says, Ping did a great job, a great in-depth analysis on workability conclusion. All lines are fairly equal, but seem harder if an iron is draw bias versus fade bias. Conclusion, all lines are fairly equal, but seem harder.
Workability.
What does Pete mean exactly? Sorry, I'm missing
What
that.
he's saying is that if given a neutral iron, that you should be able to shape it any way you want. But once an iron is a draw bias, it's going to be harder to fade it, obviously, because you've got to do some
perfect
manipulation.
Example. VGIO2 from Vice. Very draw biased iron. Very draw biased iron. Is going to be, I'm going to have to work at it quite a bit to fade it. It's not, I mean, obviously it's doable quite easily. I mean, but we're talking about the nuance. We're talking about the control of being able to apply a face to path 1.5 degrees more open rather than just adding 10 degrees of face openness to it and go, yeah, there you go, it did slice. That's not finesse. That's just kind of like, see, told you it would fade. Bucket5 says, love the ionic grips that those Mizuno, well, yeah, different, because they've got some cord. Obviously I won't show too much, but they've got some cord in them. I hate cord, being honest. I love a rubber grip. I like something with, Notice X74 has literally just come into the chat and it says, any news about the new Mizuno driver? None whatsoever. Look at the colour of that.
I don't know what you're talking about. you know what I find interesting about people talk about the workability of the game improvement irons doesn't have any workability, is the first thing they say is that more offset goes left. If irons aren't workable, then why does more offset go? I know the fact that offset doesn't go left to begin with, but the first thing they'll say is more offset goes left. Well, if that's just changing your face-to-path relationship and it automatically goes left, how is that not workable? It's just you're just ingraining the workability into it. It's just,
right. So offset again. Let's just get this one.
No,
so
no. We don't know. That was me bringing up offset. We don't need to go down offset unless somebody else brings up offset.
You are right in what you say, and we go back down with offset. We go down to the nth degree in reality and nth degree in reality. Will offset make any difference to how the golf ball moves left? No, it won't. When you are looking at the finite, and we are talking finite to, you have to go to extremes, as in you have to go to a shaft which is so weak in its bend profile for the head mass to be further back away and for there to be any form of want for the two CGs to align, so the effectively to try and catch up, no different when you got the further back CGs and trying to add loft and but you've got to have an individual that is very, very sensitive to shaft and allows the head to kick. You've got all these different permutations, and the difference between that is so tiny. No, but offset is your friend. That's what we keep on being told. It's just another marketing thing. Now, some people love it, and that is why manufacturers keep putting it in there, because they've been told since day dot that offset is there to do this, this, and this, and people believe it. And people have lived with it through decades and told their children that, and they've just this whole story, and it just keeps going on. And unfortunately, this is the problem when you're dealing with what we do here. We effectively measure stuff, and we'll say something on the basis of measuring it, and if it differs in any way to what people have always been told incorrectly, they'll just poo-poo it and go, no, that's not right. No, that's not. I've seen it happen. No, you've seen you do it. Not anything to do with the actual club physically doing it. If I can't, I used to do this test quite a few times in custom fits. When I used to be coaching custom fit full time, right, I used to do this for a bit of fun. And to basically, it's a trust exercise. And I obviously, at the end of it, I basically sort of said, look, here's the data and here's the honest what I was saying. But I could detect straight away when you had someone come in how malleable they are and how malleable their feelings are and what their perception is. And for the salesperson out there that's basically just trying to get a sale, they can detect these people too. And you will hear them use the words, oh, did you see how well that went? Or how high that one went? And steer clear away from the data. And just look at that one. Look how high that one went. Oh, that's suiting you so much better. Giving you all these words. Now, I used to do the same thing for a bit of fun. Then I used to come away and say, look, very quickly, here's the actual. It's made no difference whatsoever. But look how you felt by me using words. So let's take away from what I'm not going to say anything on that because I don't agree with it, but we just work on data. But I'm just showcasing how people are so malleable in their understanding and how they perceive things. And that's what it is. Nothing other than that. Where are we up to, Andy? Where we go? Andy used to say, yeah, post a table of smash factors versus R. You are very kind to Mark. Right, Pete says, most people looking at fading a ball as workability, which is in line with most players' irons. Game improvement irons are more draw bias, so can't fade them as easy. But the interesting thing is, if you were to look at the physics of it, and Andy, you can say this in much better words and detail than me. Game improvement irons have a longer blade length. And as soon as you have a rotating mass on which is the shaft axis effectively, and you've got longer blade lengths. Longer blade lengths, through physics at least, before you take the human into account, will rotate slower. When it comes...
Well, they won't rotate. The rotation does... The ability to rotate doesn't change. It's the force required to rotate that changes.
See, Andy's much better at implying. But effectively, if you were to like for like it, sometimes it actually has the reverse. With the workability of an iron when it comes to short blade lengths, with it being that you can potentially manipulate the head easier. But that's golfer specific. It's not specifically easier definitely on one way than the other way. It's just different. But yeah. Anyway, enough poo-pooing of myths tonight. Right, how are we doing? We have caught up. Does that mean everyone else has finished chatting? M13, M15, January 5th, 2 p.m. That's when the full reviews come out. There most probably will be some snippets of information being sneaked out there from time to time. I haven't even looked on the internet yet to see what other people have put on. Wasn't there, Andy, you said to me, wasn't there some people in America that dropped a video of...
Yeah, that video got taken down.
Oh, they did actually get...
It's now unlisted, so if you have the link, you can still open it, but they're no longer listed.
Embers Golf, thank you very much, Edward. Appreciate it. It was. Now, the interesting thing with this, and I either agreed and disagreed with this, from a fellow content creator, hate that term, point of view, I'm torn because I'm thinking, hang on a minute, not being funny, everyone else is having to wait. Everyone else is having to be patient. Everyone else is not taking the opportunity to get the leg up and get the clicks and stuff like that. Everyone else is waiting. But then another part of me thought, if it is true that they've gone out and physically spent their own money on buying them from Japan, the fact that they are in America, for me, is irrelevant. They have bought them from where they're available just because of their locale is in an area of which Mizuno, as the brand, has not released yet. For me, it's by the by. It's irrelevant. They have bought those golf clubs from somewhere which is obviously selling them to them. So I had a bit of a...
I mean, there's two ways to look at it. If they're not in Mizuno's media circle, as in they don't have you have a Mizuno media agreement that you have to sign. Now, that prohibits you from doing that. For them, they have no such agreement, and they're not prohibited. From a legal standpoint, Mizuno have no legal standpoint to go after them. No. But they can make it a pain in their ass. And if they ever won any kind of Mizuno agreement, they would be screwed straight out of luck. But I think it comes down to the YouTube monetization. It's because they monetize the video that gives some legal gray area. Because it's not just a blind review. It's not just them buying the clubs, reviewing it for free. If they put it out for free, I don't think Mizuno would have a leg to stand on. It's the fact that they monetized it that kind of gets a little grey. But either way, they took it down. So
yeah, because obviously for the algorithm, etc., they will not, even if they relist the unlist, it's still not going to pick up like it did before. So they've kind of, yeah, I suppose.
I mean, I don't think anybody took that video too seriously, to be honest. Those guys.
No, I watched it.
Aren't particularly.
I mean, I watched it.
Isn't particularly. You can't really learn a lot from those strikes, other than, yeah.
No, I mean, for me, I watched it, and from spending quite a few years coaching and custom fitting at a driving range as such, it's like watching two lads chat about and hitting their own golf clubs and on each other's golf clubs whilst they're hitting golf balls, and it's
from an entertainment standpoint, it's great, but you can't learn anything from about the quality. Like you give them any two golf clubs in that situation, and all the shots are going to be sprayed all over the place, and you're not really going to learn if one's better than the other, because there's the human error far outweighs any difference within the clubs.
Yes,
and that's why you're not going to learn anything just because that happened to them doesn't mean it's going to happen to you, because you've got to refine the data input a little bit more before you can see the differences between golf clubs.
That's interesting. Edward said that they are a Mizuno fitting shop, so they may have played into it. You might be right. If that's the case, then that's interesting.
If they have a Mizuno fitting partnership and they release that video, they could lose that partnership.
Well, I don't know. You see, because the interesting thing is, right, and this is the thing is with brands, right, the marketing and sales. Two very different brands. Yeah.
But still, within the Mizuno organization, you pee off one part of it. I'm sure the marketing team's like, hey, these guys are breaking embargo. Like, can we threaten them with losing their fitting head-only account?
No Mizuno and no manufacturers. It depends on how well they do. If they do a lot of business for them,
maybe. Yeah, I can imagine they're.
I don't know how busy they are.
Anyhow. I think it was kind of weird for them to do that. It was.
Look, you got to give them credit.
The upside wasn't worth the downside, I don't think.
No, and I think they may have paid. I don't know how many views it got before it got taken down, but.
Yeah, I don't remember. Well, I mean, technically it's still up. It still could be getting views because there's plenty of links to it online that if you search for you get the link.
Yeah, Eric. I just hit there. I just hit here, Carl says. Eric, I just hit here. But scrolling back a bit, I noticed your hint that we should play long irons instead of hybrids. When are we? Are we drunk? When we are drunk. No, well, they say when it comes to certain things, beware the injured golfer or beware the ill golfer or whatever it is. I've played some pretty good golf when I'm unwell.
Yeah, and that question about malice. I don't think they were trying to be maliceful. I don't think they were, any ill intent other than giving. The trouble is, you're annoying. The only malice is towards Mizuno, right? And annoying Mizuno. No other reviewers are gonna really be upset about it, but it's upsetting Mizuno. The last thing you want to do is upset a brand when you're trying to do it a YouTube endeavor. But
yeah, I mean, let's face it. I mean. I'm finding as the time goes on and the more honest information gets put out there, or honest and measured information gets put out there, the less the brands want to engage, we'll put it. And this is going to, I can foresee, only get worse as time goes on, because it only takes one manufacturer to make a poor golf club. And I have no bias regardless. I mean, just because I wear some Mizuno clothes, etc., these new Mizuno irons, if they're good, bad, or indifferent, they will get analysed and get concluded based on how they actually work. And if it's good, it's good. And if it's bad, then it's out there. You can't polish a poo. But I think when it comes to brands, yes, if you're going to pay off a brand and you wanted to continue to grow or involve them in the future, yeah, I think I think you should have made a better decision rather than decide to release something early. But I think Mizuno will be fine in the grand scheme of things because they did take it down. But again, that all depends on who they peed off and how bitter they are. We'll see. Right. What's time? 1:30. We've been an hour and a half now. Right. So as far as I'm concerned, guys, unless anyone else has got anything else to add, I might call it there. I'm just checking we haven't missed anything. We've got one here. Does it make sense to get the new Strixon HL irons even as a high swing speed player? The Strixon HL irons seems like the first irons that massively game improvement, but also where lofts are not jacked. Yes. I would play them, apart from, obviously they're too big. I'm a great aesthetics person. It's not just how they perform, it's how they look as well, how they feel. Now, feeling wise, as a HL iron goes, it feels really good. Like, it feels better if I was had to be pushed between the ZXIR and the ZXIR HL, I would actually say the HL feels a smidgen better. But is that because I was testing 7-iron for 7-iron and one's got more loft, which means less, more deflection, and then a more of a deflected feel rather than the bludgeon feel of the standard ZXIR? I don't know. But you cannot get around just how good the ZXIR HL is when it comes to it's great.
I'm going to say something here that's probably going to cause me to get strange looks, that there's no such thing as a game improvement iron.
Well, we found that out, really, haven't we?
Yeah, there's no such thing as a game improvement iron. There's nothing in the design of them that inherently reduces scores that by a value that would actually impact you over, say, a well-fitted blade isn't going to perform that much difference than a well-fitted game improvement iron.
Well, you can say that one thing we found with the website and how we measure stuff is we've done too many game improvements now, game improvement irons now that have performed so polarizing, from so well to so relatively poorly, and also poorly in metrics which you wouldn't expect them to perform. And then we've done other ones where we've come to pure blades and how well they have done, and then how poorly some have done as well. And there's so much crossover. What we really have worked out absolutely from doing all the testing that we've done with all the different irons and measured them all independently, is that different irons perform differently, as in they launch differently, they spin differently, they have different face speeds, they've got different face consistencies of different parts of the face. And those are the things that will suit golfers differently depending on what they need. That is the big thing, not the fact that it's a game improvement iron, so automatically it's going to make your game improve. No, because you can have two game improvement irons. If you do not need something which one gives and you need something which the other iron that you don't have does give, you're playing the wrong golf clubs, and no measure of it being called a game improvement iron is helping your golf. The key is getting fit for the correct iron, and that's why we have AskGolfNut.com. Young ex-favourites, do you think you'll see the M13, M15 comboed a lot in long irons? Well, do I think I'll see it? Yes. Do I think they should be? Well, yes. I think you should definitely combo an M15. just don't have any of them 13s in it and just go straight to your wedges. No. The M13, without obviously going for all the what it is, it is not a upgrade path to the 243. It's not like Mizuno said, look, we've got the Pro 243, we need to make it better. The M13 is a different golf club, it's a different direction. It does not replace, in essence, the 243. The 243 was a different idea. The M13 is much smaller. It is very much so like the S3. An S3 is very small. It looks lovely, and the M13 looks very nice as well. The top line on that thing is, oh, very nice. And I could honestly see people blending M13s, S3s for aesthetics, absolutely. M13s, M15s, Andy, I mean, I think they need to be very, very differing in how they deliver long irons to the rest of their golf bag, to then, if they physically measured and know how the M15 and 13s work truly, to justify the actual split.
I don't think there's many irons on the planet that have a noticeable difference to quantify. You know, so let's say you're playing the S1s, right? Let's say you've got the S1s in
Full blades.
Wedge 8, Wedge 7. There's no difference going to say the M15s in the 6, 5, 4, whatever. The first one, right? So you couldn't have 7, 6, right? In the next one, you have to get 7, 7.
Yes, with a half-inch extra shaft.
Yes. The S1s, people don't want to forgiveness in the long run. So I'm looking at the S1 down and thinking, there's nothing more forgiving. You're not going to find anything that's significantly more forgiving.
Yeah, S1s are really very, very good.
And therefore, is it really worth the difference? It's like maybe somehow mentally, that you're going to find something that you think is more forgiving, but it really is not going to be more forgiving than that.
Not the fastest face in the world?
No, but at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. You're not comboing the irons to get the extra club. You're comboing the irons to be more forgiving in the long run.
Yeah, you've got launch factor's not the greatest, but then again, that's when you go into something different at the top end of your bag, which then does launch a little bit better, maybe a little bit quicker, but you still want the same forgiveness. You still want this profile here to be as forgiving. There's no point in going to a 4 and 5 iron, have it launch really well and fast around the face, but then it's terrible in its forgiveness. So yeah, you're right. I think it will be.
And if you really want that much of a jump in forgiveness in the long irons, it's not to go to the iron. It's definitely to go to a high iron. You're not going to find an iron with significantly more. And that's not to say there are irons that aren't forgiving that you could go to a hybrid iron. I don't know what you think.
No. Oh, that was just the Pro 243. So that's just sort of blending an old one with the relatively new. But obviously, I'm not going to put the new stuff on there.
Yeah, so it's like on the MDF, you put up the D43 game, the only real significant difference there is the launch factor. And that's because, a blade versus anything else, the cavity factor, any other kind of engineered iron is always going to have that launch factor, because that's what they're designed for. But toe, heel is identical. It's a little bit low, better in the low, and that's, again, because of the CG.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't be noticeable.
I mean, I would
like for like.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that even if you've got, I don't know. I mean, I would. It'd be interesting to stick this in the self-fit tool to see someone who swings a 7 iron at 88 miles an hour, whatever it would be. By the time you get to 4 and 5 irons, how much difference this and a little bit of face speed, which is not nothing, but effectively that extra in launch, what would that mean to functionality of flight going in? It'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, it's such a narrow thing though. It's such a narrow window that you would have to have there aren't many clubs where they're similar enough to say, oh yeah, I'll blend these because they look visually similar.
So Gerald just said down the bottom there, Mizuno MX Speed seems like a great deal for quality iron, seems less jacked and lofts. What are your thoughts? Well, if we're going to go from the S1, let's just imagine like that, you can see just how well it works, just how well it launches. Launches very well. Does it suffer in face spin rate a little bit? Yes, but again, people talk so much more about face spin rate, and they should do. An iron's got plenty of spin on it. You don't got to worry about it being slightly low on spin. It's the consistency of spin that's the most important thing. But very fast face, very good launch. It's going to be very good.
You could almost imagine that as an overall good. But I'm not doing it in terms of forgiveness, right? It's about the launch factor. It's never about the forgiveness. You know, I'm not looking at a long iron replacement in terms of forgiveness.
Well, no, because if you were doing it, you'd get a hybrid.
Yeah, that's what I said. If you want forgiveness, you go hybrid. There's no long iron on the planet that's going to be noticeably more forgiving than the better irons anyway. So
No.
But a hybrid, and then the hybrid, that extra 3/4 of an inch of shaft length, it's going to make a huge difference too. What?
Apparently, the Link 66C says, I'm looking at the Mizuno Pro M15 on eBay as you speak. Please, that's got to be a Japanese import.
There's tons of them. Yeah,
really?
Tons of them. Yeah, tons and tons of them.
What, new or used?
Yeah. A lot of clubs on US eBay, you can order. You can order them on US eBay, and they ship from Japan. They're in Japanese inventory.
Alrighty then. Okie dokie. Wowzers. Right, cool. Has anyone else got anything to say? Anything else to say? Young says, do you think the yardage gap from the M13 to 5 iron to a fly high 4 would be too big? Interesting, because I found from experience the lofts don't necessarily blend. This is why it's imperative to get custom fit, because different people deliver different ways. A lot of the times when it comes to, they say the fly highs, for example, they deliver more loft than you would normally statically de-loft an iron. And so you end up bunching. So sometimes you have to go to the next stronger one because of the added loft that you get. That's not always going to be the case, and that's the thing. It's just things that I noticed when I was coaching in custom fitting. And so again, it's imperative that you get fit, because I don't know how you deliver a fly high differently to an iron. But
as soon as people get a hybrid in their hands, they start putting the ball forward, and they start, not hitting down on it like an iron. And now you've added you've added back the 3 degrees of loft that are, instantly. So they've now got the same loft. So the only difference is now 3/4 of an inch of shaft length, which is 3 to 4 miles an hour club speed at most, which is 5 miles an hour ball speed, which is not enough to make any real difference.
And they'll spin it more, and then it will climb more and drag more, and it will go peak height different, yes, but then you won't find that the distance differs too much. But yeah, get fit. Absolutely must get fit, because you need to find out how you deliver, because no one can say, yeah, go for that, without knowing exactly how you deliver.
I mean, that's why in my old bag I went from 7 iron to 5 hybrid.
Yeah, exactly that. Absolutely, because again, you know how you deliver, and then you make your best choices knowing on how you deliver. So many people buy stuff because they don't know how they deliver, and they don't know if it will work for them. They've got no other resource, no knowledge base to make the decision. And of course, they just make the decision online, and they buy these expensive golf clubs and then realize afterwards that they don't use them or use them in the correct way, and they've just basically wasted a load of money. Yep. Right. I think we're good. I think we are. Even though it's now, what's the time, 8:45, I can still get some editing done. So here we go. My day has not yet finished. So thank you very much for joining, everyone. Thank you very much, Andy, for popping along and spending your time as well. Appreciate it as always. Don't forget, We have all the embargo stuff coming. I am frantically trying to edit all the embargoed stuff ready for their dates. If you've got any specific requests when it comes to compares, etc., you can pop them in this comment section if you want, or any other video when it comes to YouTube, or in Discord. Discord's the best thing, because obviously Discord we can interact much better when it comes to YouTube, unfortunately, with the very limited way you can interact. Discord is just so much easier. Guys, remember, subscribe, like, share, all those normal things, and we will catch everybody soon. Hope everyone has a lovely Christmas, and that is the first time I have said that this year. I'm not normally a Christmas person, because I normally get about Christmas Day and Boxing Day off if I'm lucky, before I'm back editing and stuff. So there we go. Right, guys, thank you very much as always. Say goodbye, Andy.
Goodbye, Andy.
Cheerio.